Hey everyone, Angelo here, Hollywood filmmaker, greatest screenwriter in the history of the world, recovering homeless guy. I need a haircut. I've saved a bunch of money on haircuts though, but this is longer than I wanted to get. It's starting to get in my mouth randomly. Uh, I've been writing a lot, just want to give an update on that, and I've given the update. And I'm going to do more writing, lots of reading. I'm rereading Charlie Kaufman's Ant Kind, absolutely hilarious. Absolutely hilarious, so funny. And I want to talk about something that was very freeing for me to discuss recently with some people, which is what workers should do. And I was very brief, but I want to expand on that for the viewers here. What workers should do in 2025 here in America and around the world. Because I went through the experience of, being in a supposedly prestigious workplace, supposedly beloved, and being sexually harassed, going through that poison, that hell for 6 months, very reluctantly reporting it, but realizing I had to. And once you make that step, it's like some kind of kill switch pulls in a company, and they're like, oh shit, someone is saying something illegal is happening. Quick, scramble the fighters. Let's get this plane to land and disappear it. Because now that, in that case, when I brought that complaint forward, that's a matter of illegal discrimination. That's what it's considered. And that means there's a legal and financial liability to the company, as well as reputational, as well as lives that could be damaged. Don't worry about that. It was mainly my life that was damaged by it. And I was discussing with people, even though I didn't tell them what happened, but I said how basically workers need to unite, and regular people need to unite, because once the company knew about that, they played their little games to pretend they're listening to my complaints, and really, they're only listening with one ear. They're listening to the ear that's trying to decipher, okay, how bad is this for the company if we acknowledge it happened versus how bad is it if we say it didn't happen? And also, how do we maneuver this information over into the container that says it didn't happen? How do we finesse it and rework it and retool it? Well, one way is get an HR person who yells at you and laughs at you and listens to everything you say, but what pressures you to say you'll go back to work with your sexual harasser. But presumably she didn't report that to her employers. All our conversations we had, they're gone. They're just up in the air. They're not documented. Her notes, they're assuredly destroyed from those meetings. So always when you meet with HR, and you're going to have to if you report this stuff, but immediately summarize it, especially anything unseemly and inappropriate and untoward the HR person did, and email it to them, because it's so much more undeniable when you email. And then when you get that email, do what you have to do to get a copy of it. Forward it to your personal email, blind carbon copy it to yourself, or your company's probably going to monitor all that, so print it out, take a picture with your phone, whatever you have to do. Because they're not going to help you when they fire you and tell you oh yeah, here are your legal rights. Just so you know, we have to let you know what the process is if you want a lawyer to come after us. They're going to do the opposite. They're going to try and trick you, as they tried with me, to say that you need to sign away your rights to sue us if you want your last paycheck. But they're not going to tell you it's your last paycheck. They're going to say it's a severance payment, which is what I was under the belief of. And they're hoping you're desperate and financially, because you have a car, which I don't, because you pay a lot in rent. It's relative. For here, I wasn't. And because you're paying a lot in other expenses, they're hoping you're desperate. This capitalist system is great at keeping people poor, making them poor, and therefore you're going to want that last paycheck. Well, I didn't sign it. And the funny thing now is, because I didn't sign it, I just assumed that check was not good for me. They sent me a check, but I'm like, why did they send this? I didn't sign the document, so I'm not going to deposit the check. Well, sometime later in the new year, now this is a year ago, they reached out And they said, we need your address to send you your last paycheck because you never deposited. I'm like, what are they talking about? I got direct deposit for my checks, except for that last check. And I was wondering, wait, was that check they sent me, was that my paycheck or was that a severance payment? Because I got all my paychecks. The way this manager told me on the phone very clearly was that this is a check you're getting for doing this like exit meeting, and you're going to sign these documents saying you're not going to sue us. You don't have to sign shit when you're fired. And you don't have to sign anything to accept money. So I wait and I get in the mail and I see, holy shit, the check was for the exact same amount that they gave me months earlier in the previous year. And now they're doing their taxes, so they figured out they have to send it to me. And I saw that they were searching for me online again. There's ways of seeing that. And because they want to see am I posting anything about them. And now that we're at another new year, I'm going to have to fill out some kind of tax. You know, I have to disclose the income for it because now it's part of my 2024 income. And I saw how HR went to my coworkers and basically suborned perjury, tried to get a very a very incomplete testimony, testimonies that are meant like designed to get certain answers from certain questions, designed to put fear in employees of like, if you don't like cooperate, like something bad could happen to you. We're not saying that. They told me nothing's going to happen to me. But get testimony from coworkers to discredit you. So in other words, you report sexual harassment, HR goes to your coworkers, gets testimony to discredit you, which also means, by the way, your coworkers are scared that you reported them. As one told me, he was very angry. He thought I reported him. HR is isolating you. HR is getting the workforce to put pressure on you to quit or get you into a situation where you could plausibly be fired for something unrelated to reporting illegal activity. But why all this pressure? Why all these incredible mechanisms to push out an employee and silence them for speaking up like this about a predator who's a very sick person, a very sick man, who's living a double life, has a girlfriend, has a kid. He's not about that. I don't know what this guy's about, but he is awful. He is no good. He's bad news. But they wanted him. And I had to continue working with him until I did get laid off. So why these incredible steps to silence someone, to get them to sign away their rights? Why, if nothing bad is happening? Well, it's because the workers are all afraid. Everybody's afraid of speaking up. Nobody wants to end up like Angelo, being fired for speaking up like that. No one can withstand the psychological pressure. I could barely withstand it myself, and I certainly didn't speak out the way I really wanted to, because it's all designed in such a way that if you do speak out, now you're being uncooperative. You don't trust the company? You don't like us? Wow, you're unhappy here. You can be fired for being unhappy at a company. They can actually put it in your like severance papers. You're fired because you're unhappy here. Unhappy meaning you're going through psychological torture here at our hands, and through a long, slow-moving disaster of bad decision after bad decision. It wasn't just a sexual predator was unleashed on me. It was one bad manager after another bad manager, after bad hiring practices, after bad behavior at work, so that when HR goes to my coworkers, everyone's scared that I complained about them. And they're thinking, oh, yes, say what we need to. HR doesn't have to say anything hostile or malicious. They're like, we're just concerned you're not in any trouble. Bullshit. Anytime HR talks to you like that, you're in trouble. And because everyone can instantly do the math, the picture, because everyone's so weak and scared of what's at the other end of this conversation if I don't cooperate. It's losing my job, homelessness, starvation, disease, exposure, losing my family, losing my health insurance, what crappy health insurance we get. So they don't need to say any of that stuff. It's a perfect system for grinding us all down with commodified housing, commodified food, commodified health care, stratified communities, commodified transportation. We don't have good public transportation here, which they have in so many cities around the world. And we're getting there in LA. We're actually making huge strides, but it's got to go faster, and we need more people to decide to get out of their cars. Not permanently. You can just do it if it's convenient. If you're going somewhere close by, and if you can bike or take a bus or metro. And I was like that, where I just drove I drove half a mile to the grocery store, not realizing I could easily just save myself the stress, because I didn't like doing that, and get some exercise and feel some joyous transportation by getting the Metro bike share, which was right outside my apartment and went right in front of the grocery store. 2 grocery stores, actually, and more places in the area. So I didn't have to worry about locking up my own bike, and I could get an e-bike from the Metro bike shares, which were great for it's just more convenient. Like, it's the pedal assist. So my message for the workers is organize, talk to each other, hear each other's pain. I was talking to people today. We were all talking about challenges we face, and they all sounded so similar in many ways. Some different from other. Some people talking about, balancing life with their kids. Some not working right now. Some working too much. Some not being paid enough. But it comes down to similar things, like how we manage our resources, and how the harder we work, the richer the bosses get. So if we had guaranteed quality housing, if we had walkable, livable, healthy streets, if we had guaranteed food and health care, employers wouldn't have that power, that same power. They'd always have some, but not that same power to intimidate you and to commit this barbarism, because people wouldn't be inclined to take jobs where they think, I don't know about this work culture here, and I'm not going to go homeless if I don't work, and I'm not going to lose my health care. Everybody's going to have a certain minimum standard of living, and if you want extra, you can work. But if you don't, that's fine too. You can pursue what you love, or don't pursue anything. And what was I saying regarding that? So yeah, employers won't have that same leverage, but also if they're less likely to want to commit that kind of barbarism, because they see, people can just leave if they don't like it. Or better yet, they have unions and they preempt that stuff where they're like, you can't even go there. Strong unions or worker-owned cooperatives. And also, we got to get the speculation out of speculative finance out of corporations. Stockholders, you work harder, they make more money. Executives, somebody can own a company and get tens of millions of dollars off it, not doing anything. So talk to your coworkers, organize, find local organizations. Local is a generally great way to go. Look and see what's around. Here in LA, we have not specifically just tied to workers, but all these aspects of our lives that grind us down. So SELAH, SELAH. It's a group that helps house homeless people here in LA. They've housed a bunch. They helped me out. They helped. I'm trying to remember. Nithya Rahman, I think she started it, and I don't think it was necessarily SELAH themselves, but I emailed her office when I was homeless, and they got me aware of this homeless mission where I could shower and get lunches, and it was through that I was able to finally get that hellish job. But it was a good opportunity for me at first, and it got me housed, among other things. I had to work at a warehouse for 7 months on track. They are awful, and to file bankruptcy, and then I got the stimulus package, like the last federal one we got for like $1,200, I think. All of that, just barely. I had like $70 left over when I finally got my apartment, but or got a room in an apartment. But anyway, so Nithya Rahman's team helped me with that. Not her team, and she's a city council member, not necessarily SELAH themselves, but SELAH does great work. LA Tenants Union, they go out and protest slumlords and landlords who do illegal stuff to harass tenants, evict them, not repair stuff. We need more fear in landlords, and then eventually we need no landlords. They're just middlemen who get in between you and housing. Housing is there, you're there, and then they want to shut the gates on it and say, oh, you can come in, but you got to pay, and you could pay tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and when you leave, you get nothing, and I keep the equity. And we're also going to make it illegal for people to build affordable housing around me, because I have a legal self-protection right to have highly valued housing. How bullshit is that? Your legal rights to be rich are making people homeless, because when rents go up, homelessness goes up. So I mentioned SELA, LA Tenants Union, and Streets for All. They're amazing. They're doing so much. They're helping a lot with not only affordable housing, but getting more, basically, transit and the infrastructure for walkable, healthy neighborhoods where you can bike, take the bus, metro, and that includes affordable and more dense housing, because LA and Southern California has such a housing shortage after decades of the housing policies I talked about, of building out the suburbs and restricting what can be built and what can't. So organize. It's more important than ever. It can be done. Like revolutions, a good revolution. I don't think like bloody revolutions are ever good, but or you have to. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking revolution, like just like a revolutionary change in how we do things. A humane, healthy, happy society where people are taken care of, and we're connected with each other, where we don't like. I'm thinking about how like there's certain YouTubers, and like lifestyles of the rich and famous and stuff. It's like glamorized, like huge amounts of consumption. It's like that's not necessary. It's to be as generous as possible to that kind of lifestyle. It's fine enough if everybody can have what they need, and then some people have extra, but people don't have what they need. So towards a life or lifestyles where we're not like grinding out products and single-use products and things that don't last for a profit, because they're just profitable. Like it's whatever's profitable, people make. They'll make poison food. They'll make foods with dyes in them that aren't good for you, that are bad for you, not just not good for you. And like factory made stuff, and it's poisonous, and like think about the link between fast food and bad health outcomes. And why is fast food so prevalent? For one thing, so many people have so little money and so little time to cook. But also because we're so car dependent, you can just drive to the fast food place and get food, and it's soulless and it's hard work, it's miserable work, it's crushing. But people don't have time and money. And we've built out our cities for what? Not for people, but for cars. If you have more free time, you can get healthier food. You can be in more connected communities and not just in like fast food restaurants. Not that you can't make connections with people there, but places where you can have actual community, where things are slowed down because you have time off work. You have 3 or 4 day work weeks. You have guaranteed housing, guaranteed quality food, guaranteed health care. We can do it. We need to stop doing stuff like funding military aggression around the world. We need to stop subsidizing the oil and auto industries with these welfare handouts of hundreds of billions of dollars a year to the oil industry and all these free roads for the car industry. And we need to talk to each other. So speak up, share your pain, talk to your coworkers, the other tenants in your building, organize. You can start little mutual aid groups among yourselves. Talk to your friends. Try and get cheap bikes if you can bike safely where you are, and if you can get some time to just bike. Like you don't have to give up your car. Just ride a bike sometimes and see people out. If there are things to see out, there are places where it's just no man's land of just cars everywhere and ultra wide streets, like Northridge when I was there for the Greek festival. That was like, oh my goodness, this is soulless. It's soul crushing. And be connected with each other. Learn, hear each other's stories. Because on the other side of all that intimidation and abuse and just barbarism from employers like my old one is the promise of how much power we have and how much power they know we have and how they're terrified of us exercising it. They're scared shitless of us because we have so much power to shut everything down if we don't get a like a decent standard of living and are able to live with dignity. So anyways, it was exciting to talk about that stuff today. I want to talk about it more. It was great to meet people, but I got to do this soul crushing grind like everyone else and make the most of it. So I'm going to get back to my writing here. Been biking a lot, rollerblading too. And also everyone, just like people ask about my mom. I appreciate it so much. My mom's doing great. She's had some like tendonitis behind her knee. She was asking me what to do about that. I'm like, well, I mean, it's all the standard stuff, you know, compression, ice, elevated, some light exercise, keep oxygenated blood flowing to it. And she's doing like physical therapy for some kind of foot pain too. But thank goodness she's doing well. And she was able to get off her cholesterol meds because she got her diet cleaned up with my help or my advice. And we're trying to get her out here to visit and film. She really wants, she's told me, she's like, I really want to go. So that's great. It's just, we got to work it out. The finances, the time, travel is a whole other issue in this country and around the world. We need high-speed rail and we need safer streets because I know it's not really safe to walk around a lot of LA. So many people, like over 100 pedestrians a year are killed in car crashes. So anyways, organize. Ride a bike when you can, get out of your car, see people, connect with people. I guarantee there are so many people with pain like yours. I've been going through a lot with my DPDR. It is a lot. It is harrowing at times, but I also know that strategies that I go back to, the basics of how to recover using a body-based approach. I learned from Jordan Hardgrave. Some I learned kind of by accident just over the years. Do little things like shrug my shoulders while focusing on, like, intentionally focusing on my triggers and stress. And it's often just sensory triggers, just things around me or painful thoughts I'm getting, like catastrophic thoughts. Deep breathing, stuff like that. And it's telling your body, oh, there's nothing to panic about. You're safe. So it down-regulates your nervous system. It helps a lot. I'm still going through it, but I'm getting there. And yeah, I want to keep making videos. I've just been really busy. Been writing so much, but I'm excited for that. So who knows what all this holds now with the changes coming to this country with the new administration coming in. But let's focus on the good things, I think, which is people power and how much well, I didn't want to say power again, but how much we can affect change just through talking and just through solidarity. That's the one thing they desperately did not want at my old employer, because they would have had no choice but to capitulate to so many things if my coworkers and if society supported workers, and if my coworkers, it's not even to single them out. It's like anybody, you switch them out with anyone would have done it, would have caved in. And because there's nothing in it for them to say, hey, this sounds weird. Why are you saying this stuff to me? Like HR, like, why are you asking me about Angelo? What's going on? There's absolutely nothing in it for them. I'm not going to be able to help them. But if we all had that understanding and that shared knowledge that, hey, we're going to stand up for each other. Granted, the sexual abuser was a worker too, so I'm not saying all workers are great. But that would have been so formidable against them. And that's what we need. We need CEOs and the corporate lawyers to be scared, a healthy fear, because they understand, oh, people aren't going to put up with this. They're going to walk out. They're going to have solidarity. They're going to have dignity, and they're not going to accept this kind of malpractice. As it is, so much of that malpractice is legal. So we can change all that. We absolutely can. We made this system. We can make something better. So anyways, yeah, try and be connected with people. I'm telling you, get on a bike. It's one of the easily, when I met, it gained so much community, so much friends, so much peace of mind, so much, it's so great for my health, not just your legs. You're working out pretty much your whole body, even your arms a little bit when you're working the handlebars. Your back is decompressing, your abdominals, your chest, everything. It's so amazing. And it's not just muscles. It's the connection with your body, your tendons, your bones, as you get older, that's all stuff to, you want to keep strong. So you can be active and live a long, healthy life and have full range of motion and, and be able to get around easily, have independence. So let's work towards that. Anyways, I'm going to get going. Got to move and do my stuff, but it started out a really harrowing day. I don't even like talking about the DPDR in a way because I don't want to talk about it in a negative way because it makes me think I should fear it subconsciously, and I don't. I want to embrace it, just accept it, because it's like that's when the body says, oh, it's not dangerous. Depersonalization, derealization disorder, that is. And it just downregulates my nervous system back to a feeling of safety. DPDR, it feels like panic, basically, among other things. And today was a rough start, but I knew what to do, get myself aligned in order, and I'm getting better. So a lot of exciting things are happening. I also got a bunch of John le Carré novels and Frederick Forsyth books. I got them from Better World Books, Black Friday sales, and then I had a discount code too. I'm like, oh, awesome! I'm getting all these. Look at how awesome this cover is. This is kind of awe-inspiring. Look at that, Our Game. The wolves and the red, almost like a plume of blood is shooting up behind those wolves. And I'll show this one too. Oh, The Unbearable Lightness of Being. Picked that up in the alley behind my building. Neighbor threw it out. And this one's interesting. I picked this one up in the alley too. Robert Crumb's Dream Diary. I don't know how much I'll be able to get through this, but it looks interesting. I mean, just reading someone's dreams. Got a bunch more here. So many. So anyways, yeah. Have solidarity with people. I know life is exhausting. It wears us down. I've been homeless. I've worked 7 days a week. I have been ground down and exhausted to the point of extreme fatigue to traumatic overwhelm, which is what DPDR is. And I'm recovering and trusting that this will lead to post-traumatic growth. It already is. Man, I really do need a haircut. This hair is like so ungainly. And I'm just going to cut it to here, though. And let me know what you think. All right. Hope that gives someone some inspiration to make a little change and talk to people and be more active and out. And to all my homeless viewers out there, shout out to you. You're the realest ones. I was homeless for 2.5 years, living in my car. Nobody should have to be, especially when there's people like Elon Musk who are worth $400 billion. Just that's megalomania to have that much money. And something like 100 billion of it was earned since the election in November. Yeah, how's that make sense? What, did he work hundreds of billions of times harder than everybody else? No. So we can have a better world for everybody. Think about it. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. Bye.